Hello and welcome to the Fit Like a Girl podcast. My name is Jackie Lindal. I am a mom of two, an avid coffee drinker, and a certified personal trainer. I have been in the fitness industry for nearly 10 years, and I help women get fit, strong, and lose weight without losing their damn minds. If you're looking for help on achieving your health, weight loss, and fitness goals without all the fitness industry confusion and BS, you have come to the right place. Hello and welcome back to the Fit Like a Girl podcast. My name is Jackie. Thank you so much for listening. If you can't already tell by listening, I am battling some sort of a cold again. I don't know what is going on. My children keep passing me these germs and I've had like a stuffy nose for like 3 weeks. I think I got a 2-day break where I didn't have a stuffy nose and now my nose is stuffy all over again. So I apologize in advance for the stuffy nasaliness of my voice for today. But I wanted to get this podcast out before the holidays. In hindsight, I should have gotten this podcast out like at the beginning of December, but I did not. So now I'm getting it out now. I wanted to talk today about how to survive the holidays without feeling like you're ruining your progress and losing your shit all at the same time. First things first, though, life update things. I actually wrote down like a few things today for life update. And last week, my girls, my youngest was sick, so I didn't really see the point in sending my oldest to daycare if I was only going to send one kid. So I had both girls home for the majority of last week. And I tell you, trying to get shit done and like work as a self-employed person when you have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old home is so impossible. Like I used to when it was just my oldest and she was at home most of the time, I would just work like a dog during her nap time. But my youngest is kind of growing out of the nap stage and sometimes she naps, sometimes she doesn't. She's 2.5 now. But then my oldest does not nap. And she wants to hang out with me, which I love that. And I think that's great. But I am trying to like answer emails or I'm trying to do a work call and they're like banging on my door while I'm trying to do a work call and like listen to what a client has to say. And anyways, this was one of the reasons why I put them in daycare was because I felt like when I was trying to work and they were at home, they were not getting the attention that they deserve. Obviously. But then because of that, my clients are not getting the attention that they deserve on the other hand of it. So that is why I ultimately did choose to put them both in childcare. Was because they both get socialization. They're making friends. They have a great place to go and play. It's a part of my village is this daycare. B, I can actually get shit done during the day. But there are weeks, of course, where they're sick and they have to stay home or the daycare's closed for whatever reason because things happen. And it's not the end of the world. Trust me when I say it is not the end of the world because I have a very flexible job. I have a very flexible schedule. My clients are awesome people who most of them are moms and they totally understand like, hey, my kids are home today. I need to reschedule our call or, hey, my kids are home today. Just so you know, on our call, we're probably going to get interrupted. Like they get it. Most of my clients get it because they are moms themselves. But it is one of the reasons why I decided to put them in childcare was because then I felt like I wasn't trying to split myself between two very important things. Like my clients are very important to me and my business, but my kids are also very important. So then I find that I can work during the day and then in the evening, all my attention can be on my kids. I know lots of moms it's like a thing on the internet where sometimes moms will say, oh, I wanted to be self-employed and work for myself so I could keep my kids home. I am just not productive that way. It may work for other moms and they may be able to figure that out, but I was not able to figure that out. So I had to get childcare for my kids and put them in daycare. And honestly, like they love it. My oldest thrives at daycare. She has friends. She likes the structure of the day. And my youngest does as well. Like she has little friends at daycare. She loves the different toys and things that she gets to play with and all that kind of stuff. Like they are not upset when I leave them. They just like run away from me when I drop them off at daycare. And yeah, daycare has been like a part of our village. It really truly is. So anyways, that was one thing that I had thought about last week, was just like trying to split myself while both girls were at home on days where they were both at home, because my oldest does go to kindergarten. Just trying to split myself between like, okay, I want to be productive and I want to get work done, and like my kids should not need to watch TV all day long because I'm trying to work. So trying to find that balance and get stuff done. So honestly, I just ended up like working in the evenings all week last week because I had no other option, because I could not get stuff done while they were here. So given that this is kind of like a holiday season episode, one thing that I do keep seeing online is Elf on the Shelf. Now, Elf on the Shelf I know has been around for a while. And if you don't know what Elf on the Shelf is, either you've been living under a rock or you don't celebrate Christmas, which is like, fair enough. But you can Google what it is. Anyway, I feel like Elf on the Shelf is the dumbest thing to ever grace this planet. And there's going to be some moms who do Elf on the Shelf and they're like, clutching their pearls at me saying this. But like, come on, guys. I feel like most parents who have gotten themselves into Elf on the Shelf regret it down the road, because it is like this whole cumbersome thing. And I'm going to preface this right now. If you are listening with your children in the vehicle, or they are in hearing distance of the podcast, please don't listen to this in front of kids. Okay? Number one, because I swear a lot, and you should know that by now. But number two is because I don't want to burst any bubbles here. So I've trusted that you've gotten your kids out of the way, or you have turned off the podcast if you are listening to kids, so I don't burst any bubbles. So I just feel like the Elf on the Shelf thing is so dumb. And I respect parents who do it. I always kind of like giggle at like the funny things that, the elves get into, or like the parents set up for the elf or whatever. But I just cannot be fucking bothered. Just cannot. And I don't understand. This is such a busy month for so many people, especially school age kids, with like Christmas concerts, and they've got like Spirit Day and Snow Day, and they've got Christmas Sweater Day. And then you have your own like Christmas parties and family gatherings, and you want Santa pictures, and you've got to buy gifts, and you got to do this and that. And it's like, why the fuck would you add one more thing into your month? So now every single day you got to make this little shit elf move around your house and get into little shenanigans and make a mess that inevitably you make, and then you have to clean up the next day. Like, it is a hard no in my world. I'm not saying don't do it for yourself. I'm just saying, in my world and in my family, it is a hard no. Elf on the Shelf shall not grace this house. I don't know how I'm going to broach the subject when my kids inevitably ask about Elf on the Shelf and why don't we do Elf on the Shelf. I don't know. I'll have to make up some kind of a something or other for them. But I am unsubscribing from Elf on the Shelf. I will not subscribe. I am good. I am good. I do not need Elf on the Shelf in my life. One other thing that I was going to talk about. I am entering into my furniture building era. Now, if you follow me on social media, which if you don't, you should really go follow me on Instagram. Not that it's anything special or significant. You should just go follow me there. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that this past weekend / week, I built myself a bench. I've been wanting like a front entryway bench for our front door that we never fucking use. But when people come over, they'll generally come through our front door. We go in through the garage. But generally, when people come here, they'll come through our front door. And we don't have like a coat rack. We don't have a bench or anything like that. And I just remember, I think it was like sometime last year, my grandparents came by to visit. And they came in through the front door. And they are elderly. They were trying to put their shoes on. So I had to like bring them over a chair from the kitchen so that they could sit down and put their shoes on. And I was like, I need a bench here. I need a bench here so that people can like sit down and put their shoes on, or like, we need coat racks so people can like put their fucking coats here. Like, we have a coat rack over by the garage, but it is full of coats and shit. Anyway, so I was like, we need a bench. And I've been looking online for a bench, but I haven't been able to find what I want because either A, buying brand new is ridiculously expensive. And I am a secondhand girly. In case you haven't noticed or you haven't followed me, I am a secondhand girly. The majority of my clothes are secondhand. My desk that I am filming this podcast on right now is secondhand. My computer that is also recording this is a refurbished computer that I got for half price from a regular, like half price in comparison to a regular brand new computer. Like I am a secondhand girly. I try to avoid buying brand new if I can. So, anyways, brand new for what I wanted was ridiculously expensive, but secondhand was also expensive, or I just couldn't find specifically what I wanted. So, I built myself a bench. I saw a TikTok video and I was like, you know that like TikTok sound? I think it's Elise Meyer said it, where she's like, I was born with the yeah, I was born with the how hard could it be gene. And it's made me incredibly delusional, but also I can figure things out. That's me. I am that person. So I saw a TikTok video on how to make a bench. My algorithm was speaking to me, and I'm like, I can figure that out. That doesn't look that hard. We have tools in the garage. Like my husband has tools in the garage. Um, so yeah, I went to the store and I bought some 2x4s and a 2x8, and I made myself a bench. Is it the most amazingly handcrafted bench in the world? No, this is a very simple bench based off of a simple design. Like we were working with 2x4s and a 2x8 here, nothing fancy. Um, but then I built it. My husband always has to like give his opinion on things, which I find is like super irritating. Yes, he has more experience in like construction and building things than I do. I get it, but like, bro, just let me figure it out by myself. I don't need your opinions. Anyway, so I built it and I stained it and I'm super happy with it. So now I need a matching coat rack. So today I built myself a coat rack. I actually almost broke my husband's skill saw too. Crossed my fingers I didn't actually break it, but I should probably like, you know, be more careful about safety. But anyways, that's not the point. So then I needed to build myself a coat rack. So then I also built myself a little coat rack that I need to now sand and stain. And I'm very excited about it because like this is like the style of furniture. Like I want my house to, I very much love rustic country cabin, like that kind of shit. So that's kind of our goal for 2025 is I'm going to turn our house into like rustic country cabin aesthetic. That's what I'm really going for. Anyways, so stay tuned for more furniture building videos and like furniture flipping from me because I also am going to like go and refinish a bunch of stuff in our house, like our side tables in our living room and our kitchen table. I'm going to refinish because I don't want to spend a crazy amount of money on a kitchen table right now. Eventually down the road, I would love like a custom table, but delusion is telling me that I could build a table. And I talked about that on my stories yesterday. And I had a bunch of people reach out to me and say, do it, build a table. So thank you for feeding into my delusions. If and when I ever do decide to build a kitchen table, I will definitely like film it or at least take people along the journey with me because a lot of people were like, you should do it and film it and like show us how you did it. So again, thank you for feeding into my delusional fantasies. But we're a little ways off from me building a kitchen table just yet, considering all of the renovations I've now signed myself and my husband up for to do. I use the word renovation lightly. We're not talking about like smashing out walls or anything like that here, but we are talking about like fixing the trim around like all the windows and doors. And I'm going to like paint the doors and things like that to make this house look like country rustic cabin, which I'm super excited about. That being said, we don't plan on living here for forever. I do think that we're probably going to end up moving in the next couple of years. So I feel like we should have done this a lot sooner. But I feel like also when we go to sell, it'll just look nicer. Because right now our house is very plain Jane. It's very plain Jane, which is fine. It's fine. But now I actually have an interest in decorating, which before, the reason why it was always plain Jane was because when we moved in, we were like, yeah, whatever. And I'm not like a decorative person. If you walk around my house, you'll see that. But now I don't know what got into me. I think I just got kind of inspired by looking at some, like, again, my fucking TikTok algorithm was talking to me. And now I'm like, I'm going to turn this house into like country farmhouse cabin aesthetic. It's very 2014. I get it. But you know what? I like it and I don't care. So that's what we're going with. Anyways, now we're going to get into our actual topic. How to survive the holidays without feeling like you're ruining your progress and without feeling like you're completely losing your shit either. A lot of people between freaking the end of November, especially if you're American and you have Thanksgiving in November, and the end of December. They freak out about the holidays and things like that. And you know what? I mean, I get it. I get it because the holidays on a good, in a good time is stressful and a lot. But it doesn't have to be that way. So, a lot of people, when it comes to the holidays and things like that, they really let their fitness and their goals just slide to the wayside. And they think, I will just restart in January, which, I mean, I get it. There's nothing wrong with restarting in January and there's nothing wrong with taking a break. But sometimes people don't want to do that and they would like to still at least stay on maintained or seeing a little bit of progress during the month of December. And there's nothing wrong with that either. So if you are in that camp and you would like to get through December and into the new year without feeling like you either lost all your progress or, at least stay somewhat on track, here are some tips for you. Number one, we're just going to start off with the phrase that I have been saying to each and every single client when I talk to them this month about the holidays in December. Manage your expectations. A lot of people set the bar really high in December, thinking that they're going to still lose weight at the same rate that they're going to lose weight, and they're still going to get in all the same workouts, and they're going to stay on top of their nutrition 100%. And then when they feel like that's slipping, then they just say, fuck it, and they let it all go. So manage your own expectations. When you're taking a look at this month, what is realistic? Now, when I say manage your expectations, I don't say fuck it and just do whatever you want this month. I mean, what's realistic this month and what can you focus on that's within your control versus what maybe isn't within your control and you need to kind of let go of. So one thing that I've been telling a lot of clients is manage your expectations in terms of weight loss goals. You may not see as much progress this month or maybe any progress this month in comparison to other months, and that is okay. Go into it with a healthy mindset and manage that expectation. Don't be going into this month expecting that you're going to lose at the same rate that you have been all the other months, especially if you have a lot of holidays and parties and things like that that you want to attend. Manage your own expectations. Also manage your own expectations in you may not get in as many workouts as you did last month. That doesn't mean that you do zero workouts. It just means that maybe you might have a couple of weeks where you only get in 1 or 2 workouts, and maybe other weeks you can get in your normal amount of workouts, and that's okay. Manage your own expectations. That's really the biggest tip of all. Is once you have your expectations managed, then you'll know how to approach this month. So that leads me into point number 2, which is don't let this month be a free-for-all binge. Oftentimes, once December 1st hits, people will say, fuck it, and they let it be a free-for-all binge for the month, which inevitably makes them feel worse. And then come January 1st, they're feeling like shit. And then that's when they have that knee-jerk reaction of, oh, I need to lose weight. And they cut everything out of their life and they're trying to lose weight. And it's just this binge restrict cycle continues. So you don't need to let this month be a free-for-all binge. This goes into my next point, which is you can plan your month out or even just your week out, week by week, month by month, day by day, whatever that needs to look like, so that you know when you have parties, gatherings, baking days, all that kind of stuff where you might not be as on track. And then you'll know what days you can be on track. So that's what I've been having a lot of my clients do is tell me what days you're going out. Even just planning by the week. Okay, you're going out Friday because you have a Christmas party and you have Sunday morning brunch with the girls. I am using this example from my client last week. So this is what we planned. Okay, so you know Friday night you're going out. So Monday, Thursday, you're still going to get in your workouts. You're going to be relatively on track, not restricting, but just usual routine with your nutrition and everything. Friday, you're going out in the evening. So that does mean breakfast, lunch, and snacks can still be regular breakfast, lunch, and snacks. Go out that night. Have a great time. Enjoy. Then Saturday, you don't have anything going on that day. Maybe Saturday, we have that day be a little bit more on track. If you can squeeze in a workout, great. Then Sunday, you have brunch with the girls. Go have brunch with the girls. Enjoy, have a mimosa, and have fun. And then the rest of the meals for the day, depending on how hungry you are, kind of regular routine. And you can stay very well on track that way. Just planning ahead is your biggest friend. And really, this applies to any month of the year. This is not just December, but a lot of people will panic thinking that all of these days are going to add up in December and I'm going to lose all my progress. When in reality, maybe the month of December where you're actually genuinely at parties or going to be off track, it's anywhere from 5 to 10 days throughout the month. Whereas all the other days of the month, you can still be on track and still hit relatively decent consistency. You might not be 80% consistent, but let's say even out of the month of December, you're on track for, I don't know, 20 days. You're still on track about 65% of the time. That's pretty decent and is better than 40%. So again, manage your expectations. This month does not need to be a free-for-all binge, and just plan ahead. Simple as that. Other things, don't let this 1 month dictate how your year went. What I mean by that is, because it's the end of the year, we often will just kind of reflect back on this month and think, oh my God, I ruined all my progress and all these things, not thinking about all the other amazing progress that we made throughout the year. Remember this. What happens between December 1st and December 31st is literally 1 month of the year. But what happens between January 1st to November 30th is really, truly what matters. So yes, if between January 1st to November 30th, you're relatively on track, and then maybe December 1st to 31st, you're not as on track, your consistency isn't as great, you're still killing it. You're still coming out of the year ahead of the game. So don't let this last month of the year make you feel like you were a failure or let it dictate how you feel about the entire year. Next one, maintain as best as you can your movement or steps goals. Even if nutrition is not going to be as amazing this month, because let's face it, Christmas cookies, Christmas chocolates, there's stuffing, there's turkey, there's family gatherings, there's buffets, there's all these things. Control what you can control, which is your movement. Maybe you can't control what you're having for Christmas Day dinner or going out for your Christmas party for work, but you can control your movement and your steps goals. And that's a great focus for this month. Maybe focusing on a strength goal, maybe focusing on a consistency goal for your workouts, maybe focusing on a steps goal. Every single day you're going to hit a certain steps goal. This is a great way to make a great time to focus on making progress with your workouts and focus on getting stronger, focus on staying consistent, all those kinds of things. It'll help you stay mentally fresh throughout the year, be a good de-stressor, and a way to prioritize yourself in a very, very busy month. So maintain some kind of movement or steps goal. If you can get in your workouts throughout the weeks and steps and things like that, amazing. If you have to modify your workouts and adjust them as needed, that's also perfectly fine. If you're usually doing 4 or 5 days a week and this month is just absolutely ridiculous, but you can get in 3 days a week pretty consistently this month, that's incredible. Amazing. And then maybe you can get in some exercise on the other days. Go sledding, go for a walk with your family, skating, I don't know, depending on where you live. There are things that you can do. So again, this leads back to point number 1, which is manage your expectations and plan ahead. Plan out your workouts, what days you're going to get them done, and maybe set yourself a goal for this last month or these last few weeks of the year if you feel like that's something that strikes you. Next one. The next few are just some simple tips for day of events. So a few simple tips for like the day of events. So we're talking like tips for Christmas Day, for holiday parties, for whatever kind of parties that you're having or gatherings or whatever. Tips for the day of. Number 1 is make sure that you eat the day of events. A lot of people, what they do is that they don't eat all day long, feeling that they're going to save calories. But then what happens is they fucking binge like crazy, go completely overboard, and then they feel like shit. Eat the day of events. Have breakfast. If you are in control of what you're having for breakfast, maybe have something with fiber and protein in it. Maybe for lunch, have something with veggies and protein so you feel full and you get in some micronutrients and some fiber. Then if you're having dinner out, enjoy it, have fun, have a drink if you want, a mocktail if you want, and just enjoy the gathering. just making sure that you actually eat the day of events. This applies to Christmas Day. This applies basically to any gathering that you have anytime, is eat that day so that it doesn't perpetuate this binge cycle. Other things that you can do, making sure that you are mindful of booze intake, depending on what you want to do. If you want to be hungover as shit the next day and feeling like crap, do you. I mean, you're an adult. You can do what you want. If you don't want to be hungover and feel like shit the next day, be mindful of booze intake. Have a drink, maybe not 12 drinks. Offer to be designated driver, drink water, all those kinds of things. Number one, so you won't feel like shit completely the next day. But number two, the more alcohol you have, the more likely you are to say, fuck it, and go off the rails. And let's be honest, no good story has ever started with, I drink a glass of water. So just be mindful of that. And again, if you want to go off the fucking rails, you're an adult, just don't drink and drive and be safe. But if you don't, then be mindful of booze intake, drink water, all those kinds of things. It'll help your digestion, make you feel better, be less bloated the next day and less feeling like blech. Other things, when you have Christmas gatherings, Christmas dinners, holiday parties, whatever it is, you can always load up your plate with veggies, lean protein, and then also enjoy whatever else other food there is. Enjoy food without guilt. And I know I can't just snap my fingers, flip a switch, and you're like, oh, I can just enjoy food without guilt. It's needing to have this positive self-talk with yourself and again, managing your own expectations, but also controlling what you can when things feel out of control. Which include, how do you talk to yourself? Are you going to have fucking Christmas Day stuffing and then beat yourself up about it for the week? Or are you going to just relax and enjoy the day and allow yourself to actually have fun? When you can rein in your reaction to how you eat or how much you eat or whatever it is, your relationship with food actually gets significantly better. And you can enjoy those types of foods without guilt and then without feeling the need to over restrict to, quote, make up for it the next day. Because when you have that reaction and you're feeling anxious about whatever it is you're eating, it kind of ruins the moment. It ruins the excitement and the fun of it afterwards because you're beating yourself up for whatever you ate or drank that day. So focus on trying to improve your relationship with food, and how you react when you eat certain things is really the biggest key. And it does involve a lot of self-talk, a lot of reframing your thoughts, because it doesn't mean that the thoughts of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I ate that, or oh my gosh, I ate so much, I'm going to gain weight. Those thoughts don't always go away, but your reaction to those thoughts is what's going to make or break it. So I hope that you found this helpful. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to this podcast. And I would also love and appreciate a 5-star written review. It just helps increase visibility of the podcast. I hope that you have a safe and enjoyable holiday season, celebrating whatever it is you're celebrating with whomever you are celebrating. And if you don't already, please feel free to follow me on Instagram. I will post that in the show notes. And if you have questions about my online training options or programs, be sure to head to my website, www.fitlikeagirl.ca. I will also post that in the show notes. And otherwise, I just wanted to say thank you so much for listening. Again, wishing you and your family a very amazing holiday season. I'm looking forward to doing more podcasting in the new year. I may get out another podcast before the new year. I actually don't know. And I will chat with you soon.